Now, if the idea of a kebab on a Friday night sounds good to you, well, this spicy lamb kebab, done in 5 minutes, is the one for you. So, we got 5 minutes on the clock. Let's get cooking. Right, first job is to get our pans on nice and hot. Really key here because you want to make sure we get cooking straight away. So I've got a griddle pan and I have a little pan here that I'm just going to add a touch of oil to. We want to get our lamb mince in there straight away and we want it to get nice crisped up. So, to the fridge, we've got our ingredients. We've got some lamb mince, I've got some hummus, a little bit of spring onion and some yogurt. So kind of things you could have in the fridge quite easily on a Friday night. We've got hummus because I'm cheating a little bit and I think store-bought ones you can pep up with a bit of garlic and lemon. Lamb mince, let's talk about the lamb mince. I want to make sure this is up nice and hot, so give these spring onions a nice chop because they're going to add in alongside the lamb mince. So nice fine slice on the diagonal as you're cutting. Really makes a difference to the end result of your dish. Just that little bit of detail and that little kind of change of cut really does make a difference. So nice little slice on this, and I think my oil is probably good to go. So I'm going to get the lamb mince in there so it's cooking off nice and quick. Straight into our frying pan. You want to get a little bit of a sizzle. And one thing that's really important at this point is to break up those lamb mince pieces. You want them to get sizzled in the oil, and you want to start encouraging that fat to kind of break out and render down so you get that sweet flavor of the lamb. Lamb mince, pork mince, beef mince, you know, you could do a mix of all three if you wanted, but it really does really add some great sweetness. That meat of the lamb is just a wonderful one to use, and I love using lamb mince. So give that a little bit of a kind of a tussle in the pan, and really once you've got it broken down out of its kind of clump, you want to give it a little sizzle and leave it time to cook out. Season with sea salt and a little bit of black pepper, and now we are cooking. Right. Back to our spring onions. So we're going with the greens, we're going with the whites. Everything is going to go in here, and I love spring onions particularly because they cook out quite quickly. And in this dish like this, it's all about those kind of little layers of flavor. We got the lamb going on, we've got the salt and pepper in there. We're going to add some spice, but adding that little bit of crunch factor and aromatics and sort of oniony bite from the spring onions is going to go a long way. So nice thin little slice on this, and then it's time for our flatbreads. I like the idea of, you know, coming home from work after a long day and coming up with something like this where it's a real treat. It's a Friday night sort of thing that you can really get to table in a very short amount of time. So spring onions straight in amongst our mince there, and we'll give it a mix up in just a moment. I'm going to hold back a little bit just to sprinkle over the top, and then it's time for our flatbreads. Now, these gorgeous big pieces are a fantastic one to use. I'm going to add a little touch of oil to them, and they're going to fry off in our griddle pan. This little oil, it will really go a long way, so do not skimp on it because it will help to char up the outsides of them. Straight onto the pan, and we're going to press it down just until we get those nice char marks. We've got 2 minutes and 19 seconds, so I better speed things up. We're going to give this a little toss, and this is where that little bit of lamb mince needs to start charring up and getting some flavor. So give that a good stir through, and to this, we're going to get in there with a little bit of pine nuts, a little bit of honey, and my key ingredient, the spice ingredient here, is some Ras El Hanout. If you've not come across this before, a gorgeous North African spice blend with coriander and cumin and all these sorts of dark, earthy spices that work extremely well with lamb. So about a teaspoon to a tablespoon going in, depending how spicy you want it. Start giving that a little stir through and just breaking up the lamb as you're going. You want this to be super hot so that it chars ever so slightly on the edges. But if it doesn't cook out, you know, it's going to be really, really sweet anyway, so just allow it the time to cook all the way through. Now, a little touch of honey is going to go a long way. To echo the sweetness that's in the lamb, we're going to add about a teaspoon's amount going straight in here. This will give you the most glorious, glossy finish to this lamb. And give that a little toss through. And I want to add in our pine nuts here. This is a really important ingredient, I think, because it's texture you're looking for. All these different little moments we're having in the pan are just bringing this lamb mince to a whole new place. It's a very humble ingredient that's brought to life with those little bits of spices, those little bits of intrigue. So keep breaking it up. I've got 1 minute on the clock, and this is looking pretty good. So give it a little toss through. Let's talk about plating up. We've got some yogurt, we've got some hummus, and we need a little bit of coriander, one of my favorite herbs, and something that really adds freshness at the end of a dish like this. You can start seeing all those flavors coming together in the pan. It really looks fantastically flavorful at this point. So little spoon for our yogurt, a little spoon for our hummus. And the great thing about this is that if you make up a big plate of lamb like this, you can bring it straight to the table, put all the condiments out on the table, and people can make them themselves. So it's a really nice one. Okay, this is looking good. Let's start plating up. We've got really lovely char marks on our flatbread. So pop that over here, and now we're going to get in there with our hummus with 18 seconds. Oh my God, I've been talking too much. Get your hummus in there, spread it across the base here. We're gonna get in there with some of that lovely lamb. Let me grab up a spoon. Okay, we've got 8 seconds on the clock. Get some of that gorgeous lamb in there, lovely charred bits of lamb. Oh, 4 seconds, I'm out of time, I can't believe it. Oh no! Right, I'm out of time, but look, the bones of this gorgeous dish are there, so let's continue on. A little dollop of that yogurt in there is going to take away the heat from the spice. We're going to go in there with a little bit of coriander, and come on, I mean, this is the sort of thing you just want to come home to and tuck in. You could add some sliced chilies or whatever you like, but this, at this point, is a really beautiful little spiced lamb kebab that you just got to get your mouth around.